Hi, my name is Ariff from DMC2B, and number Matrik is 19DMC23F1003. And now I'm going to talk about what is typography design. Typography design is the art and technique of choosing, arranging, and designing letters and text in visible communication. Through the selection of typeface, size, layout, and color, typography design creates a visual theory and determines the aesthetic effect of design work. In practice, typography design plays a key role in shaping brand identity, flexibility, reading, and enhancing the user visual impression to many people.
Hi to everyone. My name is Ariff, and I'm from DMC, and our Matrik number is 19DMC23F1005. Today I'm going to talk about who created design typography. Typography design has evolved throughout the human history, but its more formal and structured role began in European era. With Johannes Gutenberg make it first human to using typography design in his Bible. Since then, many famous graphic designers such as Jan Siegel, Adrian Frutiger, Paula Schaefer, and contribute developing the principal typographic design that are widely using around the world. Today, with the advancement of digital technology, typographic design continue to evolve and adapt the modern visual communication like this.
Okay, the benefit of typographic design is society. Typographic design provides direct benefit to communication and facilitating the reading and understanding of information, both in print and digital media, which an orderly layout and the right choice of letters. Typography design stress the effective of communication. You can help it to convey important message clearly and easy understand for many people and students. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Typography design have impact on the world in so many levels. Typography design has influenced the world in profound ways, fascinating effective expression, communicative through print, digital, and visual media. By paying attention to the aesthetic and function of the letters, typography design creates a long brand identity, enhance the company's image, and help different the product or service of its competitor. In addition, typography design also plays an important role of conveying information clearly and easily understood, reinforcing cultural, social message, as well as inspiring creativity in various fields, from the graphic design to the fine arts architecture.
To define the term typography, we need to consider two main aspects: typography as a technique and typography as an art. Typography as a technique means to use prefabricated letters, also called movable type, and to arrange them to display text and other visual elements. These prefabricated letters come from sets of letters we call fonts. The technique of typography can be distinguished from calligraphy and lettering, where in both cases no prefabricated letters are being used. Calligraphy means to write letters in an artistic way, and lettering means to create letter forms for one specific design through other techniques such as drawing. But not everyone who writes is a calligrapher, and in the same way, not everyone who uses prefabricated letters is a typographer. If we talk about typography, we might not only mean the technique alone, but also the craft and art of it. the skilled arrangement of letters in ways to make them convey a certain mood or meaning, to make them appealing, legible, and things like that. That is the art of typography, and depending on the context, this can also be an important part of the definition of the term typography.
Typography can be an intimidating subject, but it doesn't have to be. You only need to know a little to make a big difference in the stuff you do every day. So let's get started. First, some common types of fonts and what you need to know about them. Serif fonts have little strokes called serifs attached to the main part of the letter. Because of their classic look, they're a good choice for more traditional projects. They're also common in print publications, like magazines and newspapers. Sans serif fonts don't have that extra stroke, hence the name, which is French for without serif. This style is considered more clean and modern than serif fonts. Also, it tends to be easier to read on computer screens, including smartphones and tablets. Display fonts come in many different styles, like script, black letter, all caps, and just plain fancy. Because of their decorative nature, display fonts are best for small amounts of text. For example, titles and headers, and more graphic-heavy designs. In a way, fonts have their own language. They all have something to say beyond the words on the page. They can come across as casual or neutral, exotic or graphic. That's why it's important to think about your message and pick a font that fits. Some fonts come with extra baggage, like Comic Sans, Curls, Papyrus, and many more. There's nothing particularly wrong with these fonts. They just have a certain reputation for being outdated and overused. If you find yourself tempted by them, think twice and consider using something else. There are many fonts with a similar look and feel that are less likely to detract from your message. When deciding which fonts to use, less is more. It's best to limit yourself to 1 or 2 per project. If you need more contrast, try repeating one of your fonts in a different size, weight, or style. This trick is practically foolproof for creating interesting combinations that work. You've probably heard the saying, opposites attract. Well, the same is true for fonts. Don't be afraid to combine font styles that are different but complementary, like sans serif with serif, short with tall, or decorative with simple. This can be challenging at first, but don't despair. Look to other designs for inspiration, and soon you'll get the hang of it. Maybe you've heard terms like kerning, leading, tracking, and hierarchy. For those with more experience, these concepts are essential for creating professional-looking designs. As a beginner, you don't need to know everything about these terms, just enough to inform your work and help you talk about design with more confidence. Hierarchy is used to guide the reader's eye to whatever is most important. In other words, it shows them where to begin and where to go next, using different levels of emphasis. Establishing hierarchy is simple. Just decide which elements you want the reader to notice first, then make them stand out. High-level items are usually larger, bolder, or different in some way. Remember to keep it simple and stick to just a few complementary styles. Leading is the space between lines of text, also known as line spacing. If you're not sure how much line spacing to use, don't fret. The default is usually fine. The goal is to make your text as comfortable to read as possible. Too much or too little spacing can make things unpleasant for the reader. Tracking is the overall space between characters, sometimes called character spacing. Most programs let you condense or expand this depending on your needs. In some designs, you might adjust your tracking to create a certain artistic effect. It can also help you fix fonts that are poorly spaced to begin with. Kerning is the space between specific characters. Unlike tracking, it varies over the course of the word because each letter fits together differently. Some fonts have what we call bad kerning, making certain letters look improperly spaced. If a font you're using has bad kerning, it's best to cut your losses and choose something else.